Good morning, everyone. I wanted to just give you guys like an update. This is going to be kind of a different video. I'm going to be doing it while I'm working and just want to put a trigger warning on it because if you are sensitive to death and natural disasters, then you may not want to go past this point. I would never encourage people not to watch the video, but I also want to be cognizant of your feelings. So if you're interested, go on ahead and stay tuned.
You in the past, I'm in the future. You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag.
Okay, so first things first, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Keela Trishan and I make videos on lifestyle, insurance, and mental health. I also do vlogs, day in the life in the insurance industry, day in life with a small child, all the things. That's something that interests you, go on ahead and click that subscribe button below. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and thank you for your support. Okay, so I'm gonna do this video in two parts because the fires happened first and then the death I experienced was after. So January for a lot of people was just a complete shit show. Like, just, if we're being frank, it was just like life completely changed from like December 31st through January 31st. It was out of control. As many of you know, we in Southern California suffered probably the worst natural disaster in the history of the United States. Like, I had heard it called that. I don't know if it was necessarily the worst, but that was what it was called on like a lot of news channels. I think probably just because of the amount of damage and devastation. I remember like the day before the fires happened, I had an inspection like in the Thousand Oaks area, and the winds were pretty crazy that day. Like, they were like just out of control, to the point where like when I was driving on the freeway, my steering wheel was like being pushed, and I'm like, oh my god. So heading out there was like pockets of wind, and I just remember heading back. It was the same pockets of wind, but I was trying to get back before it got to be too crazy. And I got a notification on my phone saying that Palisades was on fire. A part of Palisades was on fire. So didn't really think much of it right then and there. I just assumed, it would be contained, which, a lot of fires are. So whatever. So then I get back to the house, and then, the notifications were coming in, just like talking about how the fire was spreading. And by that night, Palisades High School, had what I know now is that it didn't completely burn to the ground, but a lot of the structures were burned. And a lot of areas were just on fire, and it was like nowhere near containment. So I'm not sure exactly when the Eaton fire started, like, where the Altadena homes and stuff were affected, but I would say it was within like a day or so of the Palisades fire starting, just mass devastation. So I get back to work the next day and everything has just changed. Like, we have emails, it's a state of emergency, and just everything was like flipped. We were literally just getting over, the holidays and trying to get back into the swing of things, and then this situation happened. So we're one of the insurance companies that does insure people, in these areas, and so I was asked to be a part of the catastrophe team. So where I live, I'm not like super far from Palisades or Eaton. I can kind of get there within, an hour or so, just depending on traffic. So I was asked because, just the proximity. And, a few of my coworkers were asked. And basically what they did was they took several people from my team and several people from like other teams to create this catastrophe team. And the people that were working regular claims just essentially had to take on more claims because we were handling the fire victims. It was so emotional. Like, I can't even fathom, just like having gone through this. And it's crazy because I'm close enough to the fires where the air quality was affected. So while I'm trying to work with these customers that have lost everything, like some people were just simply evacuated, but their homes were still standing. But you have other people that literally lost everything, that were not able to grab, much before they left, like left with the clothes on their back, their pets, their children. And then obviously there were people that passed away. Like, it was out of control. And so I'm talking to people like husbands, wives, grandparents, boohoo crying, and I'm trying to keep my composure because I empathize with them. Meanwhile, we're dealing with, although again, I'm grateful that I wasn't in the area, but we're dealing with the crazy air quality. So my son got sent home from school early because the air quality was so crazy that like legally they had to shut the school down. So there were a couple days where, it was just he and I, kind of just at home and not really able to go outside, without like proper mask and stuff like that. Then my husband works in an industry where, he had to kind of go out to some of those areas. And so it was just scary. A lot of us were just on edge, and there was a lot of information coming at us. We were, consistently watching the news to figure out, like when containment was going to happen, all this stuff. And it seemed like it got a lot worse before it got better. So we were dealing with that. Working catastrophe means that you kind of have to be available around the clock. So there was like, I want to say that first week, I probably worked like 70 hours or close to it. Worked, every single day, overtime. Like I'm working until, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. sometimes. I think one night I worked till 8, and then logged in Saturday and Sunday. Turns out that in California, you can only work 6 days, like legally. So they switched that to where, if we were going to work on the weekend, then we had to choose like Saturday or Sunday. And yeah, so it was a lot. This was probably the first time in my insurance career that I didn't really complain. Like, even though I was tired, and even though, I could use a break, it was just like, this is the first time I felt like my job like really meant something. Cause you're literally like, on a normal basis, you're helping people that are going through a tough time. But in this case, it's like you're helping people that have literally lost everything. Like, I've never handled claims to this magnitude. So talking to people that have lost their home, like the home that they worked so hard to build, you know, people that have had homes in their, family for generations, like it was awful. So I actually felt useful, just getting people into emergency housing. And, we were issuing out, payment advances to help people with like immediate expenses and things like that. It was a lot of moving pieces. What was crazy though is that, you've got attorneys and public adjusters, that are involved in some of these claims. And it's sad because if the person has, lost everything, and we're essentially paying out like policy limits, they're having to pay a portion of these proceeds to their, attorney or public adjuster. So just kind of thinking about that, like, oh my God, are they going to have enough to rebuild and everything? And I know everybody, I'm not here to speak bad on attorneys or public adjusters, because I know everybody has their reasons, but it's just, again, having dealt with claims of this magnitude, it just had me thinking. So yeah, that's been like just a lot. And it's kind of trickled off a little bit. We've gotten most people that needed housing, we've gotten them into housing, or they found housing on their own and we reimbursed them. We're at a point now where we are sending out, just like contractors, building consultants to help us figure out, what the rebuild costs are going to be. We have, our adjusters on the ground going out to do the physical inspections of the places that were like partially burned or may just have like smoke and ash damage. It's a lot going on. So we kind of foresee us being on this project for, 4 to 7 months, maybe longer. The total losses will likely be longer because, it takes time to rebuild. And there's so many people that need a rebuild that a lot of contractors are going to be inundated, and, there's cleanup that has to take place and all that stuff. So yeah, it's been tough. But, we're getting through it, and just, doing the best we can, and just trying to be there for these people that, are going through like probably the toughest situation that they'll ever go through in their life, So that's that on that. All right. So this next part is pretty tough. I'm only able to talk about it now because I feel like I am able to get through it without, breaking down crying. I'm not really big on crying on the internet. This is no disrespect to, people that do. I'm not there yet. But I lost my brother, my little brother, January 16th. So long story short, he suffered from diabetes. It was very severe. He was diagnosed probably 3 years ago at this point. He had been having some symptoms for a couple of months. Like, I just kind of remember the sequence of events. He was working out like 5 days a week with me and my husband, and he had gotten injured during a workout. But during that time, he was starting to have symptoms, just like being tired all the time. And my mom said, there was like frequent urination, which is like another, sign of diabetes, but like it's a different type of tired. So anyway, it runs heavily in our family. So she recognized the symptoms and got him to emergency, and he was diagnosed. So he had gotten, put on medication. He was basically insulin dependent. And to be honest, I don't think he ever truly accepted the diagnosis, and he struggled, for the remainder of his life to just get everything under control. So the date of January 16th, my mom couldn't get in touch with him. normally we would try to make contact with him every day. This was something that, we had been doing since, he had had a few hospital stints. So we just always made sure that somebody spoke with him. This particular day, she hadn't talked to him, but she wasn't super upset. I had talked to him the day before, and he told me that his phone was off. He had told my mom the same. So we didn't really think that it was anything to be concerned about. Well, my youngest brother went to his house to do a wellness check, and his car was outside, but he wasn't answering the door. So he finally was able to get into his place and found him in bed. He was already gone, so we believe that he probably passed in his sleep because it didn't look like he had gotten up for the day. This was the evening of January 16th. Like, I had worked the full day, had gotten off work, and youngest brother called me and said that he needed me to get to my brother's place, right away. Didn't tell me what was going on, and when I got there, he was already gone. So we waited for coroner to come and confirm everything. And yeah, that was, I'm not giving too much detail because I don't want to tell all his personal business, and also it's still very fresh. We just had the funeral services last week. He was 36 years old. He has a daughter, my niece, who is 11. And yeah, it is one of those situations. Like, I can't even describe how it feels to bury somebody younger than me. If you know me and my siblings in real life, like how close we are. So there's five of us. There's six of us all together. My oldest brother, we have the same father, but the five of us, we have the same mom and dad, and we grew up together, thick as thieves. They were like built-in best friends growing up. I mean, we still are super close, although obviously life gets in the way, so we don't see each other as often as we want. We still see each other relatively often, just considering everything that's going on. So we get together for the holidays, we hang out, and we genuinely like each other. Obviously there, are arguments that happen, like they happen with all siblings, but for the most part, everybody is and has remained close. So this is kind of one of those things, like it literally just sent shockwaves through our family. My mom having to bury a child, which I think is just like, although it happens and, there's no law against, death, it's like you don't have to be elderly. Like a lot of people don't make it to old age, and I mean, just things happen. It's a tough pill to swallow. So I am trying to figure out my new normal, just like my siblings are. To be completely honest with you, I still think I'm in sort of a bit of shock because, like, in the midst of the fires and all this stuff going on, it's like I get this call and I know I'm never going to be the same. I know none of us, like, we're never going to be the same. And I'm humble enough to know that, I have a lot of like stress techniques. Like, I work out and I try to eat good and I try to, like, I listen to my audiobooks and I do a lot of things like that. But this is one of those things where I'm humble enough to know that I can't get through this on my own. Like, I'm going to need therapy. I actually have a session this week, just to talk to somebody. And, I really recommend that. Like, if you or someone is going through something like this, like, a lot of times there's things that we can do on our own to get through it. But I think that, therapy for some people is just underrated. You can't bottle all this stuff in, and you do have to just kind of sometimes just let go and let a professional help you. And I'm at that point where I'm like, I have my good moments. Like right now in this moment, I'm okay. I'm maintaining. I'm still sad, and I believe I'll be sad forever. Like, it's not something that I'll ever get over. I'll learn to move forward. But, I still have to be here for my niece, I have to be here for my son and my family. But, like, I'm not going to sit here and lie and act like, I don't feel guilty for having the opportunity to wake up and he doesn't. Yeah, definitely like a tremendous loss. And I don't even know what to say. But one reason why I wanted to make this video is because I know that I had been kind of telling you guys that I wanted to, get back consistent with, being on YouTube. And that was my plan for 2025, like to get back, filming. The video that I put out this weekend was literally a video that I filmed at the very beginning of the month before everything went to shit. And my plan was to just like stay on top of it. Like, this is a new year and all that stuff. Little did I know my life was going to completely change, within like a couple of weeks. Like it's crazy. So yeah, please just pray for my family and, our sanity and his daughter and just, just everybody involved. He's got a lot of friends, like a ton of friends. Like the funeral was almost like, it was like a reunion, like friends that, we hadn't seen in a while. He was battling his illness, so he wasn't, out and about like how he used to be. But it was just really nice to see that even though there was that distance, he still had more than enough support, and people are really gonna like miss him and just, are gonna continue to speak his name and, just never let him be forgotten. So please pray for us because this is tough. All right, so I had to take a little breather because I felt the emotions coming on, and like I said, I don't feel like crying anymore. I feel like the first couple of days, like honestly, the first like couple of weeks, it's only been like right at 3 weeks now. Yeah, about 3 weeks. We're approaching a month, but I still can't believe it. Like it's still crazy to just think like that. This is somebody that I literally spent every day with for years that I'm never going to see again, and just only have pictures. Lord, take the picture. I will say that. Like, there will come a time where all you have is photos. So, take as many pictures as you can, spend as much time as you can. Like, I know I get into my modes where I'm just at home, I'm being a hermit. I'm only going to the grocery store and back and working and all that stuff. But like now I'm just like, I'm trying to be in the mix. I'm trying to, have fun. I'm trying to live for him because at the end of the day, I can't go and I can't join him. It's not my time. Okay. And when it is my time, I do want to just look back and feel like I did everything that I should have done. So yeah, let me stop talking about it before I get super emotional. But I just want to give you guys an update on what's going on. I plan on just, being more creative as far as the content. Like I know I had said this before, so it probably sounds like a broken record, but my world was rocked. So, I'm trying to just like find that space. It's so many like routines that I want to do, so many updates and things that I want to do, and obviously continue with the vlogs and stuff like that. But these fires and the death of my brother just kind of threw everything off. So I am in a space where I'm trying to figure out like my new normal and just, what I want my life to look like moving forward. So I know this was heavy, and if you made it this far, I definitely appreciate you for watching and sticking with me. I appreciate every view, every like, every comment, all of that. Like, thank you so much. If you enjoy this update, definitely go on ahead and give me a thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you made it this far and have not subscribed, please go on ahead and do that too. Subscribe and click on your notification button so you don't miss anything from me. With that being said, you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you next time.
You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag, size is super. They turned your bag, it's like I never